You're tuning in to Stellar Cycles, hosted by Alina Souza
and Eva Brown. Join us weekly as we delve into the science, spirituality, and cultural significance of our feminine cycles.
Get ready to align with your natural rhythms, take charge of your patterns, and embrace a holistic approach to feminine wellness.
Are all systems go?
All systems are go.
Check and check. Blast off.
Blast off indeed. We are launching off into another episode 22. This is all about the ultra secret period products that are available that women get introduced to and end up using for quite a big chunk of their lives, actually.
Yeah, we're going to go into all the nitty gritty of this stuff, some good swaps that we can use, and give you all of our period secrets.
Yep. We will talk about some myths and misconceptions as well, our personal accounts of being introduced to these products early on, and we'll just go over the different forms of feminine hygiene products, debate which ones are best, and of course, focus on informing you guys, our listeners, on how to make the best choices for your feminine health and well-being.
Yay!
Any updates?
Updates. Well, you guys know that Lena and I have manifested moving in the same building. That's great. We're throwing an event this month at that building that I'm excited for, like a nice kickoff. It's a photo shoot event.
Yes.
I'm super excited for that. And in other news, you guys already know I'm in my luteal phase, and I am rereading. I like to tell you guys sometimes like what I'm reading, what I'm up to. You guys know I like to read like 5 books at a time, but I'm rereading this book called Traction. It's a business book. Highly recommend if y'all are trying to start something or you want to get into the world. It's such a great leadership book. I've been just taking notes and implementing it into everything here. I've been raising a large amount of money for some clients. If my lady friends, if you guys ever want to get into investing or something or need investing for a business, hit me up. I'm connected. Those are my updates.
All right. So we've taken a trip up north for my friend Haley's wedding and my cousin's wedding. It was Sam's first time going to Portland.
Whoa.
So yeah, he's never been to Oregon, never been to Portland. That was amazing. We also went to a restaurant there that was just so freaking good. It was like Latin American, so like tacos, all of this, like, I wouldn't say just strictly Mexican food, but definitely just all of like Latin, Central, and South America pretty much. And when I tell you that I would actually book a flight to go back up there to have this carne asada taco again, I'm not joking. It was so good, Eva. So good. And it was...
I need to try it.
Yes. So we'll go to Portland. We'll find a reason to go to Portland.
Yes.
We'll have a meet and greet
in Portland. Do we have any Portland girlies listening to the pod?
Absolutely, we will.
Yes.
Yeah, so that was good. Good family time. Good time with people at the weddings. Yeah, just really solid, really like home trip for the summer.
Pretty. The weddings were beautiful. Your outfits were killer.
Thank you, girl.
Just loved them.
Thank you. Also, I have been working on and will be posting a farmer's market follicular haul. So just kind of all the groceries that I get during my follicular phase, and also some yummy meal ideas that the ingredients will work for several of the dishes together. So you can really just kind of like cross reference your meals.
I love that you made that, like, so easy to save. And like, of course, guys, I've already seen, I got the sneak preview of this, and I love seeing all the fruits and vegetables laid out like that. It's just very easy of like, oh yeah, that's check and check.
Yeah,
I think they can refer back to it really easily
that
when they're coming into that phase.
Yeah, 100%.
Super
and then
cool.
like it'll probably stick in your mind better when you see it all just like laid out.
Yes, the visuals.
And I have been achieving my 6 a.m. wake ups. Feels really good. That's all I've got to say for that. So, yeah. Are we leaping into our episode?
Yes.
All right. Our introduction here, you guys. Let's talk about period products. Why, you may ask? Well, if you count beginning to end nonstop, of course, every woman is different, but approximately 10 years of a woman's lifetime are spent menstruating.
Whoa.
That doesn't mean like you have your period for 10 years and then you're
Right.
done. That means if you were to squish it all down, it's 10 years of bleeding. So that's a long time to spend using certain products, spending money on certain things, having your body in
Oh my
contact with certain
gosh.
things, and then we wonder why there's kind of
Cervical
increased
cancer.
cancers, all these things. Yeah. Continuing on, menstruation starts. So girls as young as 7 will get their period nowadays. They've even had them as young as 5 because of all the hormones
Stop.
in the food, lifestyle,
No.
other diseases.
So they're literally
So
menstruating 15 years out of their
I,
life. The poor babies. The ones that start at 5, it's like that's another 2 years
well,
at least.
I mean, yeah, but it's crazy because I got mine at 14 and I thought that something was wrong with me, At the same time, I'm like, it could have even been pushed off more than that. Could have gotten it at 18 and still lived, Like, but yeah, so, girls are really young are getting it and they're starting to use certain products around really high absorption parts of the body, So your vagina, the mucosal membranes are very absorbent. So like anything that
Right.
sits in there is gonna seep into your body.
Mm-hmm.
Period products are still something that's considered very taboo and very hidden from society. Like if you're asking someone for a tampon, they'll sneak it to you.
Or like if a man has to go to the grocery store to buy the tampons, he's like embarrassed or something.
And I'm just like, people are walking around on these streets like with a colorful vape, just
I'm
like
shameless
ripping a
about it.
vape all day. But yeah, me too. When it comes to the period products,
Yeah.
I'll just, I've been trying to do better about it, but I can also sense people all tense up about it and just be like, ooh, like that's definitely a tampon. Like, what is she doing? You know what I mean? But it's like people do much grosser things in public.
I feel like the tampon will be like the new breastfeeding your baby in public movement. Like, what do you want a swimmer to do? And I'm all about being private and being a lady and all those things, but
But
I also
it
want
shouldn't be
society to
something.
accept us for like where we're at and
Yeah.
what we need.
It should at least like period products shouldn't be something that's scrambled and hidden away from view.
Yeah, it's not even gross.
It's not drugs.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
vomiting's
saying?
gross.
Yeah, vomiting is gross. And also like period sanitary like items have been around for thousands of years, and of course from culture to culture, from time period to time period, it differs what's socially acceptable as far as women and menstruation, but I think that modern women are disconnected from their monthly bleed because it's seen as like gross and so disposable and let me just plug it up and then like let me just toss it out. So I think a lot of women are like in a disconnect from their periods, and it also contributes to things like cramps, pain, heavy bleeding, because you're not connected with your main organ as a woman, your womb.
Yeah, it's true.
When you are in control of and aware of your hormonal and pH balance, it can actually lead to better hygiene. So you don't have to use mega scented things or like anything super chemical like down there, because it's a self-cleaning machine. Your body will be fine.
Self-clean machine. Yeah, exactly. You don't need the special soaps that they sell for your... I mean, of course, maybe if you... No, honestly, if you do the right things, you just don't need it. You don't need help balancing it. It just does it on its own. And once you guys tap into this, you're gonna have no weird things going on.
Yeah, because you'll allow the good bacteria in your body to do its job. I want to talk about, when was your first exposure to period products or pads, things like that? Was that right when you started your period or beforehand?
Right when I started it.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think my mom showed them to me or anything else like that. I just remember when I started, I immediately used pads. That's all my mom and I talked about. Like tampons was a no-go.
It was just out of the question.
Out of the question.
Yeah.
Like, don't even look at it. That's not for you. You're a girl. It was like tampon was a woman thing. But of course, after a few periods, I wanted to see what this tampon thing was about because I'm in middle school at that time and other girls are using tampons. And I'm like, well, I want to try this too. Obviously, it's not fun sitting in a puddle of blood.
Yeah.
So I tried it on and I literally installed it wrong the first time. I was at school. One of my girlfriends let me have one of hers. And then I didn't put the applicator in. I left it outside. Because obviously this is my first encounter with my vagina in this way. I don't even think I searched my vajayjay or did any of that stuff. And yeah, I just remember like, putting it there and then like pushing it in, but obviously, it's not really in. So when I sat down in
And that's
class,
like
I
the
couldn't
worst.
like sit down. I was
That's
like,
the
why is
worst
that?
because, like, when it's not in far enough, then it's around like the area of your vagina where it's actually is sensitive, where you do have nerve endings. So that's all you can feel
It
when
was
you
so
sit
uncomfortable.
sit
Yeah.
down.
It was so uncomfortable.
And you're like, is this what people do?
And I didn't try it for years at that
After
point.
that, you were that
Yeah.
traumatized. Wow.
What about you?
Well, for me, like I said, I was like 14 when I started, so I had some time to like explore. I was actually exploring my bathroom when I was a kid, maybe like 8 or 9. I found a box of pads in the cabinet bathroom long before it was even time for me to start. But I asked my mom what they were, and she was like, those just go in your pants. And I was like, oh, cool. So I took one and I opened it one day and I attached it to myself, sticky side to myself, and I was just like put my pants back on. Then I was like, this is the most uncomfortable thing. Like, people do this. This is crazy. So, you know what I mean? I just kind of like ripped it off and then threw it away. Whatever. Try to pretend like never did that in my life.
Like a vagina protector?
Like yeah, and I was like, I remember thinking also, I was like, okay, but if you pee, it's just gonna go everywhere. Like, what is this for? It wasn't until years down the road when, again, I think I was like junior high. I was like 7th, possibly 8th grade. And I just remember I just wanted my period to start because that U by Kotex had such cute packaging.
Yeah.
Like, they had all the neon colors. Like, that was the fun brand.
Cute. Yes, it was.
Remember? And I remember my period finally started, blah, blah, blah. And I like back then when it just started, I could get away with using liners. It really wasn't that bad, early. And that's the thing too, is like it takes about 10 years of having your period for your cycle to actually mature and stabilize and for you to actually know what your cycle is doing. Of course, when you're 15 or 16 and your cycle is just like wobbling out onto the stage and it's like, I haven't done this many times, then what do people do? They get put on birth control. It suppresses their cycle's ability to level out and balance. Anyway.
Wow.
My first tampon use, I was also at school. My friend also gave me one. I went to the bathroom. But my story differs from yours in that instead of not putting the applicator in all the way, I actually put the entire applicator in and thought it was supposed to stay there.
Oh,
with
opposite.
The tampon.
Wow.
The exact opposite. And I was so uncomfortable. I went back to class and I was like starting to get lightheaded. And I was like, literally, how do people do this? This is insane. And then, of course, you read the box and about the toxic shock syndrome and all this stuff.
Oh, yeah, that was always scary.
Yeah, so I was just like, after that, not it. But then in a few months, I was camping. Yeah. I didn't want to be wearing this pad. It was hot weather. So I was just like, I managed it, got it in correctly. And yeah, but also my mom, same exact thing. It was always like, though, like after you're married, you can use tampons. Maybe they thought that literally like a tiny little cotton plug was going to do something to you down there. Like, that's insane.
I mean, I thought that. Well, not that I thought that. Mm-hmm. I guess because my mom thought that, I always thought that,
She passed that on to you.
Don't want to pop your cherry.
Let's name as many different types of period products that we can. So we have pads, we have tampons, what
menstrual
else?
cup.
The cup, the wipes.
There's wipes?
Yeah, I think they're mostly like vaginal wipes.
The period underwear.
The period underwear, we will talk about that. I think that's pretty much all that we have currently for modern use. Pads, of course, being the oldest technology known to women. They're very user-friendly. They're great for the younger girls. Like you said, when we both started out, we were both on the pads. There's, of course, a variety of sizes and absorbencies, ranging all the way from very, very light, even like can fit on a thong type of liner, all the way to basically an adult diaper, for the people who get really bad bleeds. The only thing about pads, like you said, it's going to be really unpleasant to just sit in that blood. And it's a really great festering ground for bacterial growth. So, of course, make sure to change them often, like every 4 hours. There's also reusable types. I don't know of anyone who uses the reusable
Remember I
actual
tried them
pads.
from NYX?
Right. And what did you think?
Yeah, I bought the underwear, tried those, and remember I told you I did not like them. Yeah, they were okay. I think they came in like a cute little 4-pack or something. And they moved around and they were just big and bulky.
Yeah.
You know, they were actually great and fine because, you know me, it hurts my heart to think about all of the pads and the diapers and the tampons that just make it to landfill. You know, if you just think about how many, that's a lot. And it worries me
not think about it.
that we're going to be like Wally, right? But I really ended up liking the panties so much more. So I didn't use the reusable pads
And
anymore.
of course, if you are buying pads, I just realized within the past couple of years and doing some more research on it that it is very important to buy organic cotton pads. Why? Because inorganic cotton gets sprayed down with really bad chemicals, and women have been known to have to go to the emergency room with either the pad stuck to their bum or a really bad pad rash. So do be aware. I'm going to list off some benefits, but I've definitely noticed for myself that my cycle has gotten much, much better since I've switched to both organic pads and tampons when I do use those. So things you might see improvement in is lighter periods, less cramps, less risk of toxic shock syndrome, less risk of reproductive cancers, and they're more environmentally friendly. So Eva, for you, no Wally world, okay?
No Wally
like,
world.
yeah.
One note I want to tell you guys, this is like something I learned a few years back, that in the realm of tampons and pads, they're considered medical devices, and that actually doesn't need to list ingredients.
Ooh.
So when you guys are looking on the back of the boxes, they don't need to tell you everything that's in there, and obviously they don't. And there is a lot of horrible stuff in
If it's
this.
a medical device, then insurance should cover it.
That was like in a comment that I saw like a long time ago. That's funny.
Go.
They should. And I think a lot of women are fighting that battle right now, you know, just to have these types of things covered for our everyday living quality of life, right? But like, this is why it's really important to get organic everything, like Alina was saying, because those things our skin absorbs and our vagina absorbs even more. And everything compounds.
Yeah.
Tampons, especially, it's going inside of your body. We will have to be mindful about that.
And that's like the more comfortable option. Would you
I
say
think
yes
so.
or no?
Yeah, I honestly never minded it. I didn't. Once I figured out how to get it in, it was never.
I had to go way more tampons on this trip back home because, and normally I really don't like wear tampons anymore, but I had to this last time because, you know, I was wearing dresses and like summer clothes and stuff. I didn't want to wear bulky anything. So I had to go more with tampons and they were not organic. So please forgive me, body and womb, because I faltered this past time. But definitely the more comfortable option. Again, best to get 100% organic cotton because the ones that are made with cotton and rayon, I would watch out for those. Rayon can cause irritation. Of course, you want to have them changed every 2 to 6 hours. Do not forget them up there. The horror stories that I've heard. I thankfully have never had to smell a tampon that's been stuck inside somebody, but I've heard that it is the most horrific smell that you could ever imagine in your life. So don't forget them up there. Tampons, of course, also are encased in plastic applicators most of the time. That's another thing you got to be wary of is if you're spending 10 years of your life putting plastic in your vagina, like could be a little worrisome. So there's a lot of great organic cotton tampon options that come with either like a little cardboard casing or something like that. Just try to avoid the plastic if you can.
It's worth the extra $3.
Yo, one time I bought tampons and I think they had them at like Walgreens or CVS. They came in this cute little, it looked like an ice cream pint type of packaging.
I like that.
And the applicators were made out of sugar cane. It was absolutely no plastic whatsoever.
I love how creative we're humans.
So sick. Touching on toxic shock syndrome, think we've all had our moment of reading that on the back of a tampon box, but it's basically something that used to happen a lot more often back in the 80s, but it's when there's a bacterial toxin on the tampon and it can jump from the tampon onto your body, and essentially you can lose your leg or go through these really horrific things. And nowadays, thankfully, it only happens to about 3 out of 100,000 people.
Nice.
But still, something to watch out for. Eva, do you want to touch on the menstrual cup?
Yeah, because I've tried it. Have you?
No, that's the one I haven't tried.
It's just funny too, because I tried this when I was really environmentally friendly. I was trying to be a zero waster, so a menstrual cup is the number one sustainable option. But even though I was a green girly, it took me years to be okay with the idea of putting a cup in my vagina like that. It was actually one of my friends. Her name's Kathy, and she is so put together. She's always like this fashionista queen. Her makeup's always on point. And like, mind you, I'm a hippie at this point, so different styles. So when I saw her and she told me that she loved it, I was like, wow, I'm like, this has to be good then, you know? Like, she is not even like me, right?
Yeah.
And I tried it, but actually, like, I tried all the different sizes. They have a small or a long, if you have a long cervix or a short cervix.
Okay.
Is what it's based off of. And what's cool about these companies is if you try one, it doesn't work for you, they'll send you another one for it to fit. But it just didn't work for me. I tried it a lot, and
You must have
it wasn't my
deep. Just kidding.
yeah, I think like a longer cervix. Like one time it kind of got like stuck up there, like I had to get it out. I feel like I'm not
Didn't
selling
work
this
for
to
you.
you guys, but
That's
hopefully
fine. I hear like a lot of success stories.
Yeah, me too.
You know, so
Just didn't
happy
work
for
for me.
them. So yeah, so it sits at the base of your cervix, which is the lowest part of your uterus. And out of both tampons and pads, it can actually go pretty long. It's about 12 hours it can collect.
Isn't that cool?
That's pretty cool, yeah. And
Without
like
any
rewashable.
problems, you can sleep in it, work out in it. I heard it's really comfortable.
Yeah, doesn't leak, so really good for the people with the heavy flow, and because it can hold up to 30 milliliters, which is like 3 super tampons worth of blood. And look, it's healthier. It doesn't dry out the vaginal mucous membrane because it's, not going to be irritating anything.
Grade A silicone, like medical grade. So good stuff there.
And we'll wrap with our current favorite, which is the period panties. Now, the one thing that I think would turn off most people from them is that you do have to kind of wash them. I don't know if you just like take them off and toss them in the laundry, but I do kind of pre-rinse them first to get blood out of them. But again, I think it kind of connects you to your period to have to be involved. You know what I mean?
And I like that. I mean, like, I'm just very in tune with myself in every way. So, like, I like being connected and having those moments of, this is my period. This is my release. This is my toxins. Like, thank you for having a period. Because, when I'm cooking or cleaning, I'm meditating. And when I do that, I'm, like, meditating about my period. And, like, it doesn't smell. Like, if you are healthy, your period isn't going to have this weird odor. It's not going to be a weird thing. It's just... You don't even smell it, honestly. Maybe
it
iron.
Smells a little metallic.
Yeah. You just rinse it off, let it dry, throw it in the wash. They're so comfortable. They're so sexy and feminine. And I just like that it's not this extra thing. And
so less waste. You're not throwing out cotton sanitary products. You just slip off your underwear, rinse it, grab a fresh pair, let those dry.
They have nude.
Let me go back in time. I started wearing the NYX panties February 2022. So it's been almost a year and a half of that. And I've never looked back. Now, there are still times when I'll need a little bit of a tampon or a little bit of a liner, for extra backup. But still, those panties, world-changing, life-changing.
Like, if you travel, I know you'll carry the other stuff. It's just easier.
Yeah, maybe it's not as dependent that you could be rinsing them out and
exactly. You don't really
the situation clean. But when you're home, especially of course when you're home, if you have the luxury of being home during your period and you don't need to be in the water and you don't need to be doing all this crazy stuff, that's where free bleeding comes in. Yeah, you just chill, put some towels down, and just like let your body do its thing. But
yeah, like wear black panties, whatever. Wipe.
Another thing to touch on There was a lawsuit with this one period panties company based on PFAS, and PFAS, it stands for per and polyfluoroalkyl substances, and those are basically chemicals that resist grease, oil, water, and heat. So they were first used in the 1940s and are now in hundreds of products, including stain and water-resistant fabrics, carpeting, cleaning products, paints, and firefighting foams. So it's really important to look for this specific substance because it can really create some changes in the body. And again, if you're having something resting against your vagina for like a week out of the month, you really want to make sure you know what's in there.
Our skin absorbs so much more. I trip out on how God made our body. Like, dude, we're amazing creations. And just the fact that our skin is so porous, literally anything that touches it, it really absorbs and it changes the chemical makeup of your DNA even. There's a lot of studies about this.
Yeah.
So, of course, your sensitive areas are even that much more delicate. We can't press it enough, guys. Even cleaning products. The other day I was using this Clorox spray and I literally got so sick because I think I told you this. I haven't been around it in years. And immediately I felt the effects. And now, and I really know that this stuff I think it's making us, you know how in the Bible people live to be like 800 years old?
Yeah.
And I'm like, now we're barely making it. It's like, well, now it is growing, but like 100 years old. And I think it's because
no
all
one's
these
making
weird
it
toxins.
to 800 anymore, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And finally, wipes, especially if you're wearing pads and just on your period in general. It's just nice to keep things fresh down there. Summer's Eve, I like to get the packets, especially the sensitive skin ones. And here at the house, we just always have Cottonelle flushable wipes on the toilets at all times. And I know that's just also like a Sam thing. Like, he just always has to have wet wipes around.
I think wet wipes are very important.
It's a must if you don't have like the whole bidet situation.
Exactly.
You gotta keep it fresh.
Yes.
Does your period stop when you get in the shower?
Yeah, I've never like I never bled in the shower.
Yeah.
Like, I also don't bleed too much. I'd say the most comes out of me in the morning time.
Yeah, when you get up and like the center of gravity changes, and
it's more like when I'm using the restroom, right, or something.
and you're like
it
pushing
out. Yeah. But when I'm in the shower, no. Even in the pool. But my mom told me that when you're in the pool, when you're in water, you don't bleed.
Isn't that interesting?
So I don't know if that's a fact. Is that for you?
It's for like everybody. That used to be, I don't know. I don't think we can debunk that myth for you guys today, but that's something I would hear all the time.
Yeah, let us know if you guys have bled in the shower, the bathtub, or something.
Yeah. We want to encourage our listeners at the end of this episode, just take a look at your sanitary stash. Is it under your sink? Is it in your closet somewhere? And ask yourself, how can I level up my period products to work together with my hormones and help me stay healthy? You can check your ingredients. You can check where they source the cotton, if it's sprayed with anything bad for you. And it might seem like an incremental change, but it's something that over time, it's going to make a really, really, really big difference to your health.
Huge.
So
take care of that flower, ladies.
Exactly.
Give her only the best.
Only the very best. Be on the lookout this week for our favorites graphic on Instagram. We will give you direct recommendations of tried and true items and give you guys a starting point to go from there.
Yeah.
We'll talk to you in the next episode. Our spaceship has to go.
Au revoir.
Bye-bye. This show is intended for inspiration and entertainment and is not meant to replace your physician's medical advice.
Content by Alina and Eva, produced by Joyous Heron.
You can find more on our Instagram at Stellar Cycles Pod.
Thanks for joining us on this stellar journey. See you next time.